Hello and welcome back to the Finding Your Feet podcast, a podcast show dedicated to helping you get closer to your true authentic self by helping you find your feet in life. Welcome to season 2, episode 5.
Today we have a very relatable topic, especially with us going into our second lockdown. We need all the zen and the help that we need, really. So we're going to really inspire you on this episode with some really practical tips as well.
Yeah, today we're talking about how to be calm. I feel like me and you are very calm people, Abby, but I feel like we've probably become calm through the things that we do and the mindset that we have, and that's what we're going to share with you all today.
Yeah, exactly. Like I feel like some people are naturally calm and then some people not so much. But our point today is that you can always find that within yourself. So we're going to give you like some tips. We're going to tell you what we do so that you can really cultivate a calm from within. So it doesn't matter what's going on around you or these external factors. You can find calmness from within.
Yeah, which is exactly what what we need right now, while all the external factors of our lives are very crazy, with all the things that have been going on in 2020.
Yeah, exactly. Like we can't really control much this year. So now more than ever, we need to know how to just like get to that calm stage where we're just always not reacting too much to things.
Okay, so we just wanted to begin the episode by talking about the importance of being calm, because it's actually a really powerful attribute to have in your toolkit of life. It serves you in so many different situations, and it massively benefits your physical health as well as your mental health, to just always remain calm and have quite a calm, rational mindset.
Yeah, exactly. I feel like there's just so many situations that life throws us. And if you've learned how to be calm in different situations, it's really just going to benefit you. And it's just going to help like not ruin your day. Like at the end of the day, when things come at you, you just don't want to let it really throw you off and ruin your day. So by really improving your calmness, that is where you're going to react better in situations and not kind of overreact or act from a place of emotion. And it's just really beneficial to really learn the kind of act that we're talking about.
Yeah. So it's so important to remain calm so that you can think rationally and make good choices in your life, so that you aren't acting on emotions. I think people that act on emotion, like I get there's people in life that are very like passionate, emotional people, but it's never good to act on those things, because you can actually end up even acting on the like high emotions of when you're really happy and committing to something, then later when you're like leveled out and you're just normal like calm self, you might actually regret what you even committed to. So it's not even just when it comes to like anger, sadness, like it's just never really good to fully act on emotion. Like it's always good to take a step back, take a breather, have a logical look at things, and make a really rational decision from a rational mind rather than being irrational. And what brings you that rational mind is calmness, that and cultivating that calm mindset. And even if you feel like you're someone who, oh my god, I'm such a hothead, like I am not calm at all, like I'm super reactive, emotional to things, you don't have to be that person. Like there is every day there's a chance to like transform who you are and show up as who you actually want to be. And there's literally like scientific studies out now about all about neuroplasticity, saying that whatever you repeatedly do every day, whether that's things that you say to yourself, routines that you complete, you literally change the shape of your brain. Like there's scientific evidence of it. Your brain shape changes depending on what you're doing. And that just shows that you can literally like change the way you think, who you are, the patterns you have, the habits you have. So even if you think, oh, I wish that I was more calm, I always act on emotion and jump on things and regret it after, you don't have to be that person. Like you have the power to change it and transform to be who you actually want to be.
Yeah, that's so true. Especially in the sense of not even talking about like stress situations or if you're upset or angry as well. Like you said, if you're on like a huge high, it's also important in those situations to not, yeah, like make agreements, kind of agree to things you don't want to do when you're not at like this calm level. So I think it is important that you cultivate this calmness just to then you always know like where to go back to, and that when you're not in kind of like the right mindset, you'll know that you shouldn't so much make a decision. And I think that like really leads to one of the main things that I would recommend in terms of this is to, it's so easy when you're, say, like you're in an argument or you're in a disagreement or something like that, to just react from emotion, just react straight away and just want to like get your point across. But I think the main thing, if you're really learning how to react calmly in situations, is to just take yourself away from it and just like have a breather, have 10 minutes, have 5 minutes, because whatever you're going to say right in that moment to something you would say probably half an hour later is going to be completely different. And I think everybody knows that. But sometimes it's so hard to like to take that time. Sometimes you just want to get your feelings out. But I would definitely say that's one thing that I do. If I'm know I'm going to react to a situation and I don't feel calm and I don't feel like I am in that like good balance within myself, I will always take some time to just like reflect, and then you're always going to have a different outcome and how you're going to react.
Yeah, I even like for me, like I don't even take 10 minutes, like I'll take days to just reflect
Mm.
because depending on whatever your mindset is of that day, I'm not like whether you're in like a really low mindset or not, you whatever the situation is, you're going to perceive it differently based on how you feel that day and what your state of mind is that day. So that I only like to say what I actually mean in life. Like there's that book, The Four Agreements, and it says like only speak what like your truth, like never say things for the sake of it or say things that you don't actually mean. Like it's like be really impeccable with your word, and that always really stuck with me from that book. So I never like to say things that I don't mean, because like your words stick with people, how you come across it sticks with people, and you should always take massive pride in how you do come across to people. And so even like for me, I just literally take even days out of not actually responding to a situation yet, not reacting yet, to then fully decide, why am I thinking this? Like, is it because of the state of mind I'm in today? Is this going to bother me tomorrow? Like, or and then I evaluate it that way. And then if I still, after I've like had time to like think it over, and I still feel like no, this is like a true feeling for me, it's not like triggered from misplaced feelings about something else or just a bad mindset in general, then I speak my truth like consciously. So you're doing it with like intention. What you're saying is what you truly believe, because you can't like, oh, just walk away and don't react and like repress your feelings. That's not good. And so I think especially us girls, like we're quite we never want to come across as like being rude. I feel like we're a lot more like thoughtful about how we come across than guys are, and we don't always speak our truth. So it's important to make sure that you do that, but I think just never doing it on emotion. Like I always heard someone say like don't act on your emotion, and just like cool off and then respond if you still feel like it's in your heart that you need to say what you need to say.
Yeah, I think it's definitely important to identify what feelings you're actually feeling because, like you said, sometimes you can get so muddled up. You might be coming at a situation with anger when actually it's something totally different, like that's underlining you. So I think definitely taking time. And I like that, like taking a few days because, no one needs that like automatic reply from you. If it's something that's like draining your energy and you're unsure on how to react to it, you can take as long as you need. You know what I mean? Like you need your time. So I definitely think that's a
Mm.
really good piece of advice to take a few days and really identify why you're feeling a certain way. And I would also say, in terms of this links quite closely with boundaries and setting your boundaries with how people will react to you and how people interact with you. And I think if you're at like a disagreement or an argument or something, and you feel like replying is not worth your energy and you don't want to associate yourself with it, just don't reply. Like, never feel bad for not replying. I think if you've identified your feelings and why you're feeling that way and you've calmed down and you think, this is not worth my energy, I don't want to associate myself with this drama, it's just going to bring down my vibration, then just don't reply. And that, in the way, that is setting a boundary because you're setting a boundary with that person saying, I don't associate with this and I don't want to be involved with this.
Yeah, definitely. Like, not every situation needs a reaction. Sometimes no reaction is better than a reaction. Like, it can just drain you, and you just have to choose, like, do you want to waste your energy on this or not? Like, yeah, when I'd say that I take a few days thing, I do that more with like a bigger situation. Like, I don't actually really find myself in situations where I'm having big arguments in
Yeah, me
person
too.
with people, to be honest. Um, but yeah, like even like I don't know, like walking down the street or someone just shouting something at you, like being rude. Like, yeah, it's rude, but is it worth your energy to like tell them that they're rude or just ignore it and carry on with your day? I don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. I would usually just ignore it.
Yeah, it's just not worth it. Yes, there's a really good quote that I feel like people probably heard, but it's don't promise when you're happy, reply when you're angry, or decide when you're sad. And that just sums it up really well of like how to handle difficult situations or even like, positive situations when you're, I don't know, what if you're like in a group of people and you're like so happy to be out having fun, then they're like, oh yeah, let's all go on a holiday, and then you can't afford it or something, but you commit to saying yes because in that minute you're like so happy and excited, but then later on when you like come back down to like a level state, you're like, actually, I don't want to do this. And like the replying with your angry thing is like that's like where I mainly would take a few days to decide, is mainly surrounding like situations that are making me annoyed, because it's like, is it worth like saying, is it worth disrupting something? And obviously don't decide when you're sad, because obviously when you're sad you're never going to want to do anything, so you're always going to say no to things, opt out of things. So it's always best to do it, make your decisions when you're calm and you can think rationally.
Yeah, I agree. It's like what we're saying about the highs and the lows. Like it's all about finding that calmness. So if you're unsure whether to make a decision or whether to react in a situation, always kind of go back to that balance level. Whether you are feeling really happy or really sad or really anxious or anything, just find that balance level before you kind of take the next step forward.
Yeah, because you obviously you don't want to like do something big, drastic, acting on like emotion, and then regret it.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. I think this kind of leads on as well to our like looking at it as in a victim mindset. I think sometimes if you're really struggling to stay calm in a situation, it's because you might be thinking that everyone is conspiring against you and like, why is this happening to me? And like just getting angry that like life feels unfair. But the reality of life is that bad things and shitty, horrible things happen to everyone, like literally everyone. And it's all in how you deal with it and how you react to it. Like if you never kind of grasp that and never understand, then you're just always going to be walking around thinking that bad things are happening to you just to ruin your day. And then you're just never going to feel calm and react like in a good way because you're like, why is this happening to me? But like I know, well, I know you do as well, Grace, and I have this like such strong belief that everything happens for a reason. And whenever I'm like at a point and I want to react to a situation or like I feel sadness or anger or anything like that, I literally believe so deep in my heart that everything happens for a reason. Even like the tiniest thing, like even just like little things that might bug you in the day. Like say if I'm like in a rush and I miss the bus or something like that, it sounds ridiculous, but I always tell myself that everything happens for a reason and life is not against me. Everything's happening for me.
Yeah, definitely. I think having like a spiritual belief in whatever form you want that to be is actually very good for like just general well-being, because it does just give you that like sort of elevated mindset. I mean, people call it higher consciousness, but just a mindset that there's something bigger than you working, and like just having trust and faith that things are working for you, because it kind of draws back to that like law of attraction concept that you attract what you think. So if you're always thinking victim mindset, oh my god, this has happened to me again, why is this happening, this is all bad things always happen to me, I've got the worst luck. If you're going around repeating a story like that to yourself, then that's all you're going to see in your life. Like your life, it's not the circumstances of your life, it's how you view it. Whether like, because like when people always strive to be super wealthy and get to the top, and then they get there and then they're like, I haven't got that happiness that I thought I was going to get. Like your circumstances don't bring you that, like things don't bring you that. It's your mindset. And even with like negative things, you don't need to just sink into a super negative mindset just because something like unfortunate, bad, inconvenient has happened to you, like missing the train or something bigger, like that's quite like a life changing bad thing. Always having that like spiritual belief that life does happen for you, everything's unfolding in your favor, nothing is happening to, like just to be mean to you. Like there's nobody conspiring against you, making your life difficult. It's all in how you want to see it. And the more that you actually focus your energy and time on thinking life is happening for me, then the more things that are happening for your best, like highest good, will come into your life, because what you think about, you see, you attract. So just stepping away from that victim mindset is so important. I think that spirituality and having some sort of spiritual belief, whether that is through religion or just a general belief that we know about positivity in the universe, it just it just gives you like a more of a state of peace when things are going not going your way.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. And even if like some people, well, obviously a lot of people don't believe in that way and they may not be spiritual and they might even think it sounds a little bit stupid. But it does not really matter, because if that makes you feel at ease and that makes like these horrible situations that you might be put in, it makes you feel better, and it makes you feel better in the moment, and it just affirms something within you, then that's all that matters. Because like you said, then like people turn to religion or spirituality to help them have faith. And I just think that's just beautiful. Like, I don't know how anyone could find that ridiculous or go against it. If anything helps you have faith and puts you at ease through like the struggles of life, then that is just beautiful.
Yeah, it definitely just brings like another sense of like peace to your life when you do have those beliefs. I think especially on like a very turbulent year like of 2020, where everything's just been like flipped upside down, and you could very easily think, oh my god, like my life is ruined because of this, because this hasn't happened, this has been cancelled, I can't do this anymore because of COVID. Like if you're always looking at it in that way, then you're just going to feel horrible about it forever. You have to flip your mindset to not be a victim and think, okay, what has this opened up for me? So I might have lost some things through this, but what have I gained? And just looking at it as if, what is this trying to teach me? Because there's always lessons in the hard things in life as well.
Yeah, definitely what is this trying to teach me is a huge thing. Because like no matter like what is going on or how low you may feel or where you may go, you're always going to learn something. And even though that's hard to swallow sometimes if you're really going through a tough time, but you are really going to learn something. So I think that's really important. If you're at like a place where you can't you can't even like figure out the next step and you're just feeling like anger or whatever, just think, what is this teaching me? Or just even if you don't know in the moment, like you probably won't, just have faith, like we said, that it is going to teach you something in the long run.
Yeah.
I think as well, in terms of arguments, when we're talking about like why you might not feel calm in an argument, I think it's a lot to do with like some people feel like they need to be right. Like they literally can't like drop their ego. They can't let the guard down and not be right. Do you know, like some people are really bad at arguing? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah,
Like they
yeah,
get
yeah.
really in their
They just
feelings
don't
and they just
stop.
yeah, like and like it's just ridiculous. Like they'll just react from like a really emotional place, and they literally can't accept even if it's not the whole argument, but they can't accept like little points of not being right. But I think that as well will directly relate to not acting calm in a situation. So if you're someone that you know that you really struggle to accept when you're wrong, working on that to begin with is really going to help when you come to some kind of like if you do come to some kind of conflict or disagreement, if you can really say, I'm sorry, I'm wrong, and that's fine, then you are going to feel a lot more calm and you're going to be able to walk away feeling a lot better.
Yeah, and that's it's just like the mature thing to do. And even admitting you're wrong like in that way, you might feel like, oh, like that hurts my ego to do that or whatever, but that's what's going to save your relationships. Like where I was saying that I take a few days to decide if how I'm going to respond to something or if I'm going to say something, it's because I wouldn't want to damage any of my relationships in my life. And it's the same way with like dropping your need to be right all the time. And if you are wrong, like just admitting that, and there's no shame in it, and actually like you might feel embarrassed to do that, or feel like, oh, your pride's hurt, but it's actually, that's fine. Like, it's fine to have conflict with people, and then if you are wrong, like, admit it, and then like it's then resolved. Like, it's not going to dent the relationship as much either.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. It's all about just finding a balance between everything, between like knowing when to like back down and just having that calmness just so everything can go a lot more smoothly when you come to those conflicts.
Yeah, definitely. So I think that brings us on to like some of our tips of how to be calm. So we've got like short-term tips that you can do in the moment, and also long-term of just how to generally cultivate a more calm state of mind for yourself, so you can just enjoy life a bit more, because life is so much more enjoyable when you are calm. Like, when you're stressed, when you're like feeling full of emotions, like negative emotions, that isn't a fun state to live and experience life through. It's much more fun to be calm. So we've got some tips for you.
Yeah. To kick off those tips as well, I would just say one last thing is, as a general, so when you're in your emotions and you're trying to calm down, just reminding yourself to be in the moment. Because I think if you're like angry about something that's happened recently, and you're really angry and you're like reacting to it, it sounds quite deep, but if you remember that all we have is the moment, like what just happened an hour ago or something, or what just happened a few days ago that you're still like not sussed over, that's in the past, and all we have is the present moment. So if you're going to spend time in anger and in worry and in sadness, which is valid sometimes, obviously we need to feel those emotions, but
Mm.
all we have is the present moment. So I think when you remind yourself, like, I'm in this present moment, and that is literally all we've got is now, it kind of reminds you to kind of like jump out of those feelings and just think like, what can I do? But like I said, we're going to go on to those tips of like what you can do right in the moment.
Yeah, so I think like the first one, which you said that you do, is like just taking 3 deep breaths.
Yeah, for sure. I feel like that helps so much. And as well, the last thing you actually want to do is take 3 deep breaths. You know what I mean? When you're really aggravated,
Yeah.
you don't really want to do that. It's like it doesn't feel that natural. Like your breath will be quite shallow when when you're anxious or stressed, like you have like really
Yeah,
shallow
yeah,
breath.
yeah.
Yeah, and it
Mm.
feels really uncomfortable to take a deep breath, but it does calm down your nervous system, and it is really beneficial if you're unsure how to react in a situation and you're stressed. Just 3 deep breaths or longer will be beneficial as well, but just 3 deep breaths is really going to help you just calm down.
Yeah, definitely. Like, if you like what I'm about to say, you can't really do it if you're in the middle of like an actual conflict, because you'd literally look crazy. But just walking away from the situation, and if so, say you've had something that day that's like really just pushed you off, like, and just tipped you over the edge, and annoyed you or made you feel really worried or anything. It's built up some kind of pent up negative emotion in your body. The most powerful way to get rid of it, like fully release it, is through breath work. And we've spoke about breath work before on this podcast, and we've also had an amazing breath work teacher on to speak to us about it. Episode 18 of season 1, if you haven't listened to it, it's amazing. But breathwork is only something that I discovered this year, and I still am a big meditation fan as well, but breathwork's a bit different, because connecting to your breath, like you were saying, when you're anxious, when you're angry, or even when you're sad and you're crying, like kind of hyperventilating, like your emotions are very much connected to your breath. And if you like are feeling overwhelmed, you take yourself back to your breath and connect with that, you can really calm your body down and regulate your nervous system and get yourself back into a calm state of being. And breath work is so powerful for that. So you can, find them on YouTube. We love Breathe with James. You can do them on Instagram with him, but they literally, like, through just connecting your breath, it is insane how powerful it is. It literally pushes the pent up negative emotions that you have out of you. Like, it moves your body into like a state of calm, and where your body thinks you're safe. Like, when you're doing these deep belly breaths, your brain thinks I'm safe when you're breathing in that state. Like, you're so full of oxygen, you just move into such a calm state that then your brain thinks, right, I'm in a safe place right now where I can register my emotions that I've got inside of me, my negative emotions. And that's why it then makes them move through you. So obviously you couldn't start doing like crazy breath work like your boyfriend's shouting at you and you just start doing that for 20 minutes, like that's be a bit strange.
Like, shut up.
But like if you've had a difficult day at work or something like that, and you've had some negative things happen to you and it's just taken over you, that is such a powerful way to really just shift and get rid of, like, just get them out of you, just allowing yourself to be in a place to just release it. Because then sometimes when you actually just release it in that way, it might just completely go, and then you actually don't feel like you need to act on it anymore because it's just left your body.
Yeah, I've done that so many times where I've been like really worried about a situation, or I'm like, I don't know what to do. And then say I've done a meditation or breath work or something where I'm really connecting with my breath. And then the worry, have you ever done it? The worry just kind of like simmers away and you're like, oh, actually, I didn't
Yeah.
actually need to react to that. Yeah, it's crazy. I feel like everyone needs to experience that. And I would say in terms of like the breath work as well, connecting with your breath, a really good one for in the moment is kind of affirmations, just to literally
Mm,
calm yourself down in your head. Like whatever you feed your mind, or whatever you tell yourself, you will believe if you keep saying it, keep saying it. So
mm,
obviously we always talk about how affirmations are really important on a daily basis. But also if you're in a moment where you're really worked up and you want to calm down, I think just remind yourself, like you said, like I am safe here. Like, I'm fine. Everything happens for a reason is a huge one for me. What is this teaching
mm.
me? Instead of thinking, what is going on? What did I just think, breathe, breathe, and think, what is this teaching me? Like, or just have faith, this is teaching me something. And just repeat it in your head. And even though you might feel a little bit crazy, you're just calming yourself down.
Yeah, I think a really like powerful one for, really anxious people is the saying, I'm safe. I'm safe in my body. I'm safe in this moment. Because I think when you're in a state of really like worry, panic and anxiety that might actually be bringing on a panic attack, you feel very unsafe. Like you even feel unsafe within yourself because, if you're having a panic attack, like it's an involuntary thing, and it takes a lot of like focus and control to bring yourself back to feeling calm. So, and you feel unsafe in your own body in that moment because you're hyperventilating, your heart's racing. You might be feeling like you're having a bit of an out of body experience where you feel like you're like a bit detached from reality when you're having like really extreme anxiety attacks. And you feel very unsafe even in yourself. And just like a really quick, snappy affirmation is just say, I'm safe in my body, I'm safe in this moment. And just say that to yourself whilst obviously focus on your breath. And you can just bring yourself back in the short term to a really state of calm, peace, clarity, rationality.
Yeah, very true. And some other things that may calm you down directly in the moment are stuff like CBD oil, or even like in terms of like saging, stuff like that. Anything that's
Mm,
kind of like a personal thing to you that can really help cultivate calmness. The CBD oil is, yeah, it's really good for like if you are anxious or if you're overthinking, it's really good for helping improve sleep. Um, so yeah, would definitely recommend that. And like sage and stuff, that always calms me down.
yeah, because it is such a nice, relaxing smell, and it's got such like a positive, how you say it, like it's got such a positive like sort of stigma attached to it that sage is this
Mm.
thing that you burn and it brings good positive energy into the air and it clears out negativity. So even just thinking that that is what sage does when you actually like get it out, you just feel a bit like it's getting a release. Or even like putting on incense, or some people really like essential oils, like things like that. Just having a little essential oil bottle in your bag, like having it to smell like lavender or something, is very calming. So there's little things like that that you can also do just to, bring a bit of peace and calm into your day to day as well.
Yeah. So as a whole, I would say in terms of our short-term tips, as a whole, I would say mainly it's take time to just evaluate how you feel and don't react straight in the
Mm.
moment. And
Hmm.
then do your breath work, do your deep breathing and do your affirmations, and just have the deep faith that everything happens for a reason, even though it may feel horrible in the moment. But all round, I think that is like a very good little routine.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
definitely like what I do. And people always say,
Yeah.
people, and I know you're the same, people always say I'm super, super calm. They're like, you're one of the most calm
Yeah.
people I've ever met. So guys, you need to take this advice.
Yeah, because people always say that we have such calming energy. So, um, yeah, take our advice. But we've got some long term tips for you as well. So these are things that you can implement into your life daily as consistent practices that are going to just generally put you in a calmer state of mind, state of being, calm your nervous system so you're not constantly living in the stressed, like adrenal pumping, stressed, like mindset, and you're just generally feeling much calmer. So the first thing is meditation. And we've spoken about this so many times. We have meditations on our IGTV, on Instagram. We've had meditation teachers on the podcast. We love meditating. And it's not a weird thing where you sit there and you and yom and put your fingers
You
out
can
and
if
cross
you
your
want.
legs, and yeah, you can do that if you want, but it's just giving yourself that time daily to really just quieten your mind. And the thing with meditation, it's not a instant like you can feel relief after it, but its huge benefits are that it just makes you a much calmer, much less reactive, much more rational, much more peaceful, compassionate, empathetic, nicer person. Who wouldn't want to be that? But
Why
it
would you?
does
Yeah, I
that.
was gonna say, why would you not want that?
Yeah, it does it over time. Like it's a build up. It's the consistent practice that is how it makes you be. It's that neuroplasticity. It's that changing of your brain. It's a practice that you can do consistently that is going to move you into having all those things I've just said. So just doing it daily or just trying to get it in a couple times a week will literally change how you see the world, how you feel, just everything.
Yeah, we're always banging on about meditation, aren't we? But it is so true. I feel like, well, me and you both, I feel like we are kind of different people from practicing it daily and just practicing it for a few years. You actually just reminded me, it's quite funny. When I was at uni, so like obviously I did fashion design and we make our final collections and it is such an intense time. Like I cannot tell you, anyone that's listening that has studied fashion design, when you walk into the sewing room, when it's like, say you've got like 4 days left to hand in and you're still making your final collection, the energy in that room, like you would not even believe it, is absolutely crazy. And I remember one day, like I mean like stressful energy. And one day I was like sewing up some trousers and I like caught the thread or blah 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 and it just completely ripped a big hole and I didn't have any fabric left. And I remember I was just like, oh. And I took it to my teacher and I was like, I've done this and I'm not really sure what to do. And then she helped me sort it out. And then she took me around the corner and she went, Abby, she went, I can't get over how calm you're acting. She was like, I just don't get it. You're right. And I said to her, which was funny, I went, because I hadn't really been meditating religiously for that long, but I was in a period where I was meditating daily. And if any of my friends are
Mm,
listening, remember that I said during our final collection, I was like, this final collection is a breeze, and it's because I meditate. I was meditating for about 20 minutes every morning, and I was like, this is helping me so much. But anyway, I said to my
yeah.
tutor, I said, I've been meditating every day. And I said, I think this is why I'm acting so calm right now. And she's actually really interested in meditation. And she was like, oh, stop it. What have you been doing? Da, da, da. And it always stuck with me because I didn't actually realize like how much I don't really react in situations. And I honestly do think that is down to meditation and like just being into spirituality and just, even though it was a pair of
Yeah.
trousers, it's not that deep. It like really benefits you. Like doing that breath work that morning would have really benefited me.
Yeah, definitely. Like meditation is such a gift to give to yourself, and it doesn't have to cost you any money. You can do it for free. There's so many free um there's different ways to get it online now. Like you don't even need it doesn't need to cost you anything. It's accessible to everyone and the benefits are huge. If I could make everyone in the world meditate, like
Mm.
wow, this world would be so different. It would be such a different place.
Yeah, totally agree.
So yeah, meditate.
And as well, leaning back to what we were saying before about spirituality, I think being a spiritual person will definitely help you in situations where you need to kind of cultivate calmness. Because when you're always working on yourself, when you're journaling and you're meditating, you're always reflecting, you're creating a really strong relationship with yourself. And then when it comes to conflict, like you kind of thinking, how can I honor myself in this situation? How can I have faith that everything happens for a reason? I just think it's so beneficial.
Yeah, definitely. Like I got in touch with like my spiritual side and like discovered it um when I was like 21. And I read The Secret, which is like the book that like everybody starts off with. But it really just changed my life from there. Like it just made me just see the world so differently, and it just gives you such a sense of comfort. It really makes you feel like you're not alone in this world as well, like in like a weird way, because you know that there's like so much something higher than us, like at work. I mean, just look, like even now, like when I go out and I like look, I go for a walk and I'm out in nature, I'm like, nature is so perfect and beautiful and
Mm.
perfectly like the way it works, everything in harmony, the seasons changing, the food chain of animals, like everything works in such perfect harmony. It's like this is too perfect for it not to be like have been made by like something huge. And even like with human, like how we all are, like how our bodies work, everything, like all our cells which work in perfect harmony with each other. And it's like that is just too much of like intricate perfection of how the world works, that there has to be something more than us at play. And I just think it's just, yeah, it's just a comforting, calming mentality to have, because when you are having those difficult times, you're just like, yeah, but everything is happening for a reason, everything happens for me. And you just move completely, you don't even go near the victim mindset, because you just have that like that trust that there's something bigger at play here, and you can just surrender to it.
Yeah, yeah. And there's definitely a community within it, like you said. Like if I meet someone and I can tell they're quite spiritual or they say it, I'm like, oh my God, me too. Like, I love it. It's like,
Yeah.
it is, yeah, it's like a connection that you can't see. And as well, like, even on like Instagram and stuff, you can connect with like-minded people. And if you see that they're spiritual, you can learn so much from them. And yeah, if you're at the start of your journey, it's like, well, like we are as well, it's very exciting. Like, I love it. I love being a spiritual person.
Yeah, you learn so much, and you learn so much about yourself. Like it really makes you like engage and develop into a better version of you, I think, because it just kind of naturally guides you into addressing your mindset and thinking more positively, which then just leads on to like so many different things unfolding. So it's definitely, not only does it make you feel super calm, but it's just such a beneficial kind of thing to have in your life. And you know, like even doctors and stuff and scientists, like they say that having spirituality in your life is one of the things that makes you healthy and happy, because it does just reduce that stress within you, because you have that trust that there's something bigger looking after you.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. Like it literally puts you at ease no matter what. So like why would you not create that faith?
Yeah. And another thing that obviously you can do to help you have more calmness in your life is just like looking after yourself. So exercising, eating well, um, you know, like just not drinking loads, or you know, because that's like a depressant, like just not doing things that are going to just kill your vibe and bring you down, add more stress to your body. So like exercise is stress reliever, it's so healthy, you know, it's what we need. We need to move our bodies, and also like just feeding our bodies with like the nutritious foods that we need to be having just puts your body not in a state of stress. Because you know, if you're not looking after yourself properly, then physically, then your mind isn't going to be okay either. Like they work in complete sync and
Mm.
harmony. So you've got to make sure you're also looking about after your physical body, and that's going to make you feel so much more calmer and less stressed, and you know, can see clearly, no brain fog, and you can just deal with difficult situations more, and you just show up as a better person. Like all these different things, long-term and short-term tips, and the way that we kind of spoke about how to approach conflict and negativity in your life by taking step backs and assessing what is going on here. Is this trigger, am I being triggered by something that I've got a belief about myself, like, because that happens quite a lot. Someone might touch like a little wound within you, or is this really because somebody is, you know, wronged me and I need to stand up for myself and say something, or whatever. All these different things are just going to move you into such, your body physically in such a calmer, less stressed state of being, which is so important then obviously for your mind as well.
Yeah, no, totally agree. Literally so many good tips there. Yeah, so I think that leads nicely onto our quote of the week this week, which is peace comes from within. So it's short and sweet, and it's basically everything we've just talked about. If you really build that relationship within yourself, when you come to these situations, you can find that peace, you can find it, the calmness from within you.
Yeah, I love that. Peace begins with me, peace begins from within. It just puts that power back in your hands as well. Like, it's so important to remember that, in life when you are feeling good, you have got yourself to that place where you're feeling good. Nobody else like actually truly makes you feel good. Like, you can try and seek feeling good in other people, but it's a shallow feeling good. It's like surface based level, and if they then do something that doesn't make you feel good, then you don't feel good. But so when you've like actually done you've been meditating, you've been doing things that make you feel amazing, it's you that got yourself there. And if somebody knocks you off or annoys you, or something happens in your day that's really inconvenient, or you get some bad news, or something just doesn't work out for you, instead of letting it throw you off, like, you can just remember, I have the control, I have the power here of how I choose to respond, how I choose to view this, and whether I choose to let it move me from my state of peace into a state of like panic and flappiness and negativity. It all begins with you. I just love that quote so much because it just puts the power back in your hands.
So that leads us to the end of this episode. Thank you so much for all listening. We really hope you're going to take something away from this. And if you love this episode, please leave us a review and let us know what you thought.
Yeah, thank you so much for listening, everyone. If you're listening on Apple Podcasts, hit subscribe and leave us a review. Let us know what you think. We love hearing your feedback. If you're listening on Spotify, follow us so you never miss an episode. We release them every single Wednesday. And also, if you're listening to the audio, you can watch this on YouTube if you would prefer to watch the video and feel like you're more in the room with us by having us physically there on a screen. Then you can do that as well. We now put all our episodes on YouTube as well. So thank you so much for listening. And also, don't forget to come and join our community on Instagram at Finding Your Feet Podcast. That's where we are every single day. You don't need to wait until every Wednesday to hear from us through an episode. You can chat to us and find out what we're doing and get some positivity from our Instagram.
See you next time.
Bye.